Oh, man.
And we're back. Hello, everybody. We're here today in Seattle. I'm in Seattle. Neil's on the other end of the continent. But, we're back today for another day after show. Neil, how are you?
I'm tired. I stayed up for all of that. And, life goes on the East Coast when you stay up till 3 o'clock in the morning listening to a stream.
Not everybody offsets their schedule accordingly, you mean? You still have to get up in the morning?
Yep, things to do. But here we are.
Here we are.
We got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, there's a West Coast tour coming up, but thank God I can watch the webcast the next morning because there's no way I'm staying up this time. And lo and behold, you are not a man of your word.
So last night was a different story. We don't need to go into specifics, but
I'm just talking
I didn't
generally.
fully intend to stay awake till 3 o'clock in the morning. That was something, man. And there was no way I was walking away from that stream last night after the second set started.
Yeah, it's true.
We
will cover, and we have a couple of great guests who were also at the show last night. We will bring them on in just a minute. But of course, before we get started, a quick word from our sponsor, who is Beekeepers Naturals. Powered by nature and obsessively tested, Beekeepers uses potent ingredients like propolis pollen and royal jelly and steers clear of added chemicals. In a day and age where we want to boost our immune system as much as possible, Beekeepers Naturals has many products from lozenges to gut health supplements to support us and tap into the magic of nature. Personally, I don't leave home without one of their propolis throat sprays, especially supportive when singing my heart out at a show, which obviously I was doing a lot of last night. Use code STORMSOUND at checkout for 20% off your order at beekeepersnaturals.com. So, shall we bring on our guests?
Sure.
So we have day after show veteran Mark Comito here, and Sean, I believe this is your first time on the pod.
It is. Thank you very much.
Welcome. Yes, welcome both of you. How are you guys doing today?
Great.
Yeah, great. I'm tired too. Like Neil, I was up till 3 as well, Pacific time. So we went out and I was with Soup Man, so we were out a little bit late.
Nice.
But got some much needed food at like 2 a.m, so it was perfect to wake up to.
My day was 27 hours to your 24, so I'll take the claim for most tired.
Nice. Early flight from the East Coast.
Yeah.
Well, we're glad you made it out. It was great to see you last night, of course. But let's set the scene here. Before we get to all the technical difficulties and timing and everything, let's get into getting into the venue. Not sure where you guys were, but Comito, go first. Getting to the venue, getting in. If you want to talk a little bit about your day in Seattle yesterday, just the lead up to the show.
I got here at like 11 o'clock in the morning, went straight to the Needle and to Pike Place and watched them throw some salmon around and ate fish and chips and went and met some friends online, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. Community is always like, I don't think we talk about it enough, but like those hours spent in line, meeting people from all over the country and making friendships and relationships, like that's how all this stuff started, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that makes these experiences pretty special. Getting into the venue is a piece of cake, super easy, West Coast chill. Except they're trying to keep the rail on a strip down the center of the venue.
That was weird.
And they said, we're just keeping this until showtime and then you can go. So we were saving all this space for then. I don't know. That was weird. But otherwise, everything was delightful. Company was delightful. Super easy. Vibes were high going in.
Mm-hmm.
We'll leave it there for now.
We'll get to that. Sean, what about you? Your experience getting to the venue? I know you flew from Boise yesterday.
Yeah, had a noon flight. Flew with Boise. Flew over from Boise with my buddy Andrew, who lives in Boise, and he caught his first show Friday night.
Yeah.
So we flew over together. I'm staying in an Airbnb probably about a mile or so from the venue. So we came here, checked in. We went to get lunch first because we couldn't get in Capitol Hill, so not too far from the venue. I used to live in Seattle a long time ago, so I'm pretty familiar with it, but it's been almost 20 years. So
nice.
So we just chilled, relaxed. We have like a little rooftop deck here, so we were chilling out. And then getting to the venue was simple. We just Ubered over, and we had VIP, so got the poster. We got tickets. And got our seats. I came up to see you and your mom. So that was fun. It was a good way to hang out because we got in so early.
Yeah.
And that was a completely different experience than I had the night before when I was on the rail. So
right, exactly. No kidding. And I was up in the balcony as well. It was nice loge. I know, Camito, you're a big loge guy when you're not on the rail. But it was nice being up there after having worrying about like a GA venue like with floor in Boise on Friday night. So it was nice. Like I have a seat so I can go around and talk to people and schmooze it up a little bit before the show and not worry about losing my space. Which was nice. My mom and we flew in from Boise. We got up a little bit earlier than you yesterday, Sean. We
I know.
made it in, spent the day walking around the city, also went to Pike Place. It was lovely. And then, got to the venue just after doors, walked in, no line, smooth sailing, said hi to a few people, of course, came down to see you on the floor. But it was great. Yeah, as you said, vibes were high. Especially, Haps and Haps Jr. were up there too. And we talked about yesterday, if Haps and Camito are in the same venue, the vibes are high. The vibes were high. Incredibly high.
Haps had his kid with him? I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
It was awesome. Yeah. Haps Jr.
Yeah, I want to say, piggyback on Mark's on the community. Like, I'm pretty new to this whole scene. I haven't even known Goose for a year now. Last night was show number 8, and just the people that I've met through this journey, like all of you guys and everyone else, it's so fun. Like I met the guy who was sitting next to me in the seats I bought for the show last night. They were his extra seats, right? And just met some other Twitter people that I didn't, I hadn't really communicated what they look like. So it was cool. Vibes were definitely high until.
Oh yeah.
But wait, just to continue that thought for a second. So last night was actually my 50th show. And
I didn't even know that. I saw your post this morning. Congratulations on 50.
Yeah. And I don't know. I just felt like I wanted to put some effort into number 50. So like my next scheduled show is going to be Peach Fest. And I was like, no, I'm going to fly 6 hours and, make it something special.
Nice.
But to the community aspect, like I flew out here alone. My wife is back. Like I didn't come with any of my super close friends. Like I just came to do like a me Goose community show. And I spent the night with a couple from Anchorage that I actually saw my first show with in 2019.
Wow.
Or like a part of my story in getting me to that first show.
Mm-hmm.
And, we raged the rail that night in 2019, and we did it again for just the second time, last night. And that was, I don't know, like that was really special that I could fly out here alone and have those kind of relationships. It's just special what we do here.
Yeah. Amazing.
That's awesome.
Amazing. Well, let's dive into this show. We have a lot to talk about this show last night. I think we've set the scene very, very nicely here. But let's talk about, this first set and kind of the PA issues. Of course, we've got Danger Zone, Animal, a lead up and a half, and flow down. You could tell from the get-go they walked on stage. There was crackling coming out of the PA. They had to wait an extra couple of minutes before they started playing Danger Zone. Nice little push-up display from Jeff and Naveed. Always cool to see them having fun up there. But first Danger Zone since June 15th, 2021, which is 147 shows. Pretty long gap on that one. I was hoping maybe when I heard that they had sound checked Danger Zone, I was hoping maybe we'd be getting the full login suite last night, but it'll come back. The login suite will come back. But yeah, and then they took a little bit of a break after Danger Zone, I think, or it may have been after Animal, but the PA started to crap out again during lead up, which led to the first break of the night, and then they came back on, played lead up again, still some issues, and then through flow down where it started to really give out again. But then we had the longer break after that. But Camito, why don't you start off? Like, how are you feeling during these first few songs?
So I was flying ready to go. And from the first notes of Danger Zone, which, is like one of the covers I've been, I haven't seen yet. Right. So that was the first time played for me. Right. And still, I had a hard time getting excited about it because something felt off. I was in the second row center, and my initial reaction was even as they were playing that I was too close to the stage, and I wasn't getting sound from the PA.
Mhm.
And I was kind of regretting my decision to be in the second row. Maybe it was one of those kind of rooms where you just need to be further back. So as excited as I wanted to be about catching a cover, that I haven't seen yet, something just felt a little off. It really did. Something felt a little off. And that continued, through, you say it's a lead up and a half. I'd kind of rather forget that they played it at all because it's such a beautiful song. But like Rick standing 15 feet from me and belting lyrics that I can't hear, and it was awkward at best. Painful is probably a more accurate description. Not placing like blame or anything, but like when you go to a concert and there's no sound, it's weird and awkward and it sucked.
There we go. We do have a report coming in that the Borfs are up. The show is now on Bandcamp. Peter has noted it as being a 3-set show, which is very interesting. I guess you could call that first little break a set break. I don't know. I wouldn't go that far, but
What's the third set?
The third set would be the big one.
Starting with Echo, right?
No, starting with Echo is the third set. So he has it on Bandcamp noted as the first set being Danger Zone Animal in the first lead up, and then set 2 being lead up flow down, and then set 3 being Echo through the end. So
we'll convene the council and
we will
discuss.
Convene the council,
and then we will reach out to Peter to let him know he's wrong.
Yes, and also official timing. Of course, this does include crowd noise on the front and back, but official timing on the Echo, 45 minutes and 24 seconds. So probably somewhere in the 44-ish range.
What if I call that a 1-set show?
1.5?
No, 1.
You can also call it a 1-set show.
I don't count anything. I really like. I don't. I was when we were questioning. They were coming on the PA and saying we might have to reschedule this for Monday, and the band is off the stage, but we don't see them doing anything. Kind of wondering how they're going to troubleshoot this issue that they couldn't troubleshoot a couple times already. And asking, saying we might have to reschedule this for Monday. There was kind of like no confidence that they were going to come back at that point.
Right.
So I was wondering in my mind if they rescheduled this for Monday, if I would have even counted those 4 songs as a show.
You never know. Yeah, that's a good question to ponder. But Sean, your thoughts during this first, we're going to call it the first set here. These first 4 songs where difficulties were abounding.
I'm going to echo what Mark was saying. It just didn't feel right from the first note. I was up in the balcony with you, and it just sounded thin. Like it just didn't sound like the full. So I was like, all right, well, what's going on? And I hadn't heard Danger Zone either. I haven't caught that. I've caught the other 2 logins actually at my first show, so that was cool.
Oh, nice.
But I was like, all right. It sounded okay, but it didn't sound right, And then Animal seemed pretty good. And then just lead up. Like I agree, like they should have just that first set really didn't even happen in my mind. I was telling you guys earlier, it was like when they came out again, I was just like nervous. Like, is this going to happen the whole time? Like I can't really enjoy the show like this. So, so it was disappointing. And I had a buddy there, and we paid a lot of money for our VIP, and I was like, this sucks. Like, what's happening here?
Well, not to be a downer for like, the whole pod here. Like we're gonna get to being very excited about a lot of stuff that happened later in the show.
Believe it or not, but this was a good show.
This was a great show.
Isn't it? Like,
Right. Oh, it is part of it. I
as
just
a
like
sports
I'm not
fan.
used to spending so much time on the pod being like, man, like, yeah, and it was kind of like sad and like, we were like, what's going on? Like, so I want to hear Neil's very different couch tour experience. I agree with both you guys, and Sean. Like, it felt off from the first notes. The sound wasn't full. It felt like kind of quiet, like it wasn't really filling the whole room. I I didn't let that stop me. I still sang and danced very loudly to Lead Up, as I do, because it's an awesome song, and power through the issues. But I felt that even during the long break, people were like kind of like, and it is what it is. Like the crowd wasn't getting unruly. Didn't seem that people were like, angry at all. Like it was, we're going to wait. We're going to see what happens. And so I think shout out to the whole crowd at the show last night for keeping it together. Nobody freaking out. Nobody, getting unruly, as I said. Like
it was more just like a collective, like, fuck.
Yeah, because everyone was so excited. The energy was there last night. As we've said, vibes were high. So it was like are we about to lose this night of Goose? Luckily, we didn't. But Neil, I want to hear your couch tour experience throughout this whole
Yeah,
thing.
so I caught on a little late, so I still haven't gone back and listened to the logins. I probably won't. I don't know. Maybe I will.
A danger zone is a danger zone.
Seeing that on the set list, that's exciting, right? Like it makes a statement because the last time this was played was a pretty special show.
Yes.
Also, Sound Troubles at that show.
That show.
Yeah, you should go check out. Was it 6:15?
Yeah, 6:15,
21. And they played a couple pretty good tunes at that show, but they also had Sound Trouble at that one. We were trying to watch it on the live stream because there was only like a few hundred people there at that one. That was still kind of pandemic drive-in show stuff. But so in any case, that being on the set list says to me from the band that like we're going to go out here and rip it up and absolutely crush it. Obviously, all the things that you guys are talking about happened and got in the way of that. But, I heard 2 really good lead ups last night. You guys only heard 1.
Right.
But like
I heard
the lead up on the stream, the first one sounded great. It sounded really, really good. And so we got 2 of those. And, a good Goose mulligan.
I'm glad people got to enjoy 2 lead ups in a row, being able to hear it properly. I was like, I was like, play it again. Like,
Neil, what solo was better? First or second one?
Ooh.
Both. I don't know. I haven't listened that closely.
As we said, every lead up is the best lead up since the last lead up until the next lead up, unless you were in the room last night.
Yeah, not counting last night.
Not counting last night. Well, then we had a set break, and then we had the announcement about a possible postponement to Monday, and then my mom and I were immediately like, okay, like strategizing, like, okay, if they postpone it to Monday, we need to call the hotel, we need to call the rental car company, we need to call our hotel in Eugene, like change all these bookings, whatever. So I'm glad we didn't have to do that and they were able to solve it. But they come back on, it's around 9:30. They're like, all right, we've gotten a curfew extended, basically. Like I think Peter just said, we're just gonna let it rip.
We're gonna rip it.
We're just gonna rip it. And rip it they did.
They did.
I think we're gonna spend the next 20 minutes or so at least talking about this echo, probably, knowing how we like to talk on this podcast. But I'd like to go about this kind of, in sections, much as the jam does. Like, we each kind of give our thoughts on each kind of segment of the jam, if you will. Not sure how you guys feel about that, but to me, they came into this echo with purpose, of course, right? They're coming back, we're still not sure if or how long the PA is going to last. If it's going to crap out in another 5 minutes or 10 or whatever. But you could immediately tell when they came back on for echo, the sound was there. It was full. The room was
for the
filled
first time all night. The sound was full.
Yeah, it was amazing. And they rip into the echo. There's purpose. Within a few minutes, they're already departing echo. Just this uplifting major key jam that they get into. And that immediately felt like catharsis. It was like, you're gonna lift your arms up. You're gonna celebrate the fact that, like, fuck yeah, we're on stage right now and the show's happening. Like, it felt amazing to me right out of the gate there. But Sean, what were your thoughts on the beginning of the second set here, the echo and the first part of the jam?
Oh, unbelievable! I mean, the sound, like you said, the sound was back.
Yeah.
Right. So. And I was just excited to get an echo. It was only the second one for me. So, I just was like, I was still a little apprehensive though, like something was going to go wrong. Mm-hmm. But that went away pretty fast.
Yeah.
And I don't think I watched it again this morning. I don't know. I don't think I can break it down into those 5 jams that you have, but it was amazing. I mean, they went all over the place, right? Mm-hmm. There was like trippy, spacey, almost Dawn type stuff in there, and at the end was like the evil dark. You know, it had a little bit of everything. It had to. It was freaking 45 minutes. So.
Yes, exactly.
But you know what? Did you guys even like? I didn't even realize it was that long while I was there. I was just in.
I had kind of figured, like, I looked at around the 30-minute mark and I was like, holy shit, this has been half an hour. And then I didn't look again until after the jam was over. And I was like, oh, that was the longest jam they've ever played, which was crazy. But Kamita, what was, you know, the beginning of the second set, Echo, first part of it for you?
So I have a couple thoughts. You know, one, as a also like voracious sports fan, you know, it's not necessarily so much fun to just go and watch your team win 6-0 every time. You know, when the game's 1-0, 2-0, 6-0, like, cool, you got to win. You got to experience some lows in order to really feel the highs, right?
Right.
And Goose wins 6-0 basically every fucking show. And last night, they, you know, having faced that adversity, there was a different, there was just I don't remember ever suffering at a Goose show. Even, you know, the tornado warning in Frederick, Maryland, didn't feel like this. It was just, this just felt hopeless and despondent. And the wind was totally taken out of our sails. And in that first set, or the second set, as Peter called it too, like it was just flat. And from the first notes of that Echo, it was clear that whatever they did while we didn't see them, that it was better now. And within 9 minutes, we were even money, you know?
Yeah.
I get sports.
Yeah. Sports is when it. So yeah. Thank you, Vickers, for pointing out that winning 6-0.
So we were on even money immediately, and almost higher than we were before because of the lows we experienced. Like, I flew across the country, and I'm wondering if now I'm only going to get one show, and if this is even going to count for my stats. And this is terrible. And that was put to bed.
Listen, counting for stats is an important issue. We all know this is what really matters here.
If we saw those 4 songs and I went home, I really don't want to count that. I know technically it probably would have, but I wouldn't have wanted to. That would have been a really shitty number 50.
Yeah.
Instead, I got a really special.
Luckily, they redeemed it. Neil, how are you feeling on the couch when they came back out for the Echo and started going?
Well, I mean, like, I think at this point, nobody knew what was going to happen.
Yeah.
Right. And it felt to me, and I think the set list later confirmed this, that they just kind of pulled this one right out of a hat. And it did feel like Frederick, Mark, that you brought up, where like they came out and just ripped right out of the gate. What was it, like Bob Dunn Arrow at Frederick?
Arrow Bob
right
Dunn, like 27-minute, incredible Arrow, like huge, distinct jamming style shift for the time. Like,
yeah, no, and it was amazing. And I think that was what happened here. They just kind of, they pulled that Echo right out of a hat, and they said, let's just absolutely go with it. And, you know, we got what we got. And it was pretty good. Excuse my son in the background coughing his brains out. But,
better not be COVID, Neil.
Interview, the necessity to put your mind, like to turn your mind off,
yeah,
you know, to let a jam like that happen. And Goose's ability to kind of turn off the negativity of everything that happened before. And like even Sam came onto the stage at one point during the Echo, and I think Peter was maybe having a problem with his in-ear monitor.
I think the battery died in his
and Sam went to offer him a new one,
and Peter was like, "Nah." Like,
Echo was just starting to take off, and Peter was like, "I don't care, like go."
Yeah,
yeah, like
I can hear the drums and myself. Like, who cares?
Yeah, they were. It was good.
Get it after that first amazing peak. It's like, all right, you know, we're going. Like, where are we going from here? Right into the funk.
Hard clav.
Clav tweet.
I was thinking it in my head. Did you actually tweet it?
Of course I did. What do you take me for? Of course I tweeted it.
Nowadays, there's like 5 tweets. There's like maybe Ryan's tweet comes first, and like a few other people doing the Clav tweet anyway.
Yeah.
So
listen, Jeff had one the other day. So
Jeff had one of his own.
It's a thing. It's catching on. But yeah, this was an amazing section. Just so funky.
I love the way Rick queued it up with his guitar too.
Yeah.
Kind of like patiently, I don't know from his pedals, but just patiently handed, you know, a nice gentle solo over to, you know, that Peter ran with on the clav.
Yeah.
That became a huge thematic section.
And it felt like another one of those jams that they've been doing this tour where, you know, usually we get a Rick led jam or a Peter led jam. This section especially felt to me like they're just improvising together. You know, Rick, Peter, Trevor are, you know, they're all melodically interacting with each other and they're all playing off of each other. You know, Rick and Peter and Trevor and Peter, like all basically the three of them, as I said, the interplay between the three of them in this section was absolutely incredible. Hearing that, and of course the drummers still like just locking in on this groove. It was so cool. Sean, how are you feeling during the funk?
Dude, just breathing it
dancing.
all in. It was. I just couldn't, it was just amazing. I don't know what else to say. I don't get as technical as you guys, but they're so talented, and just I was in the groove. Like I got rid of we're gonna hopefully stop talking about the shitty first set. But I was like out of that fear,
right?
Once they got going.
Yeah, by this point in the jam, it was like, okay.
Yeah, and I guess maybe I haven't been doing this long enough, but I wasn't like paying attention to the time. That's why I was like, I had no clue it was that long.
I just pay attention to the time because I'm a nerd.
Well, that's fine.
Yeah,
I'm still learning. So, just and again with my buddy who's second Goose show, and he's catching all these great tunes. It's just amazing.
Yeah, Neil, how are you feeling here?
Yeah, I mean, anytime that you have Trevor asserting musical ideas, good things happen. And that's what you have in this section right here. And I think what you're talking about, Ryan, is just them listening to each other, right? So it's not like just Rick playing a solo. I think that's like traditionally, like way back in 2019, like a valid criticism of the band, which is like, wow, the dude just gets up there and like rips off solos. Now, that's not completely true, but I think nowadays this kind of jamming where like it's not just like people ripping off solos, it is them listening to each other, people asserting ideas, people picking up on those ideas and developing them, and that's what this is right here. And then it gets even crazier as we go on with the jam.
I think the theme, Brian, piggybacking on what both of you are saying, the theme that we're seeing in 2023 is that there are three guys on the front of the stage, not just one.
Yeah.
And those jams are coming from everywhere. And they've always come from Rick and a little bit from Peter, and, it was, maybe 80, 15 and 5, and now it feels like 40, 30 and 30. And that's made everybody better. Yeah,
man. And I don't know about you guys, but I feel like Trevor's sound has just been monstrous this entire spring tour. It just sounds so good. Yeah, totally.
You're Big T.
And he's leading jams. It's interesting.
Absolutely. Yeah, Ryan, great point as well. Ryan Molnar, a lot more patience this year too. And we see that in the next section. They move from the funk and it's like, all right, we're not done. We're moving on to this next idea, which, Rick leads them into this. It's like the cross-eyed intro jam, that 2-chord, beautiful Reba-ish, if you will. Just beautiful.
I didn't hear any of that either, Neil.
I know. Someone was going to say it. I figured I'd get ahead of it. Neil, you're usually the one that
I'll tell you what I did hear. I did hear a lot of Dawn.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also that it's the combination of the synth and the vintage vibe, and a very similar kind of uplifting motif that they were in. I was listening back this morning and I thought maybe Peter had teased the Dawn a little bit in there. He did not. It was a close CCP. But this was just like, it was just, again, another arms raised, just like happy joy moment. Hearing the vintage vibe like this, it sounds so incredible. And just wow. Sean, how are you feeling during this part?
Yeah, I think that was my favorite part of the jam, the synthy, spacey, a la Dawn from SOS. I mean, with Peter on the kind of dreamy, trippy keys. I think that's the part that you're talking about.
Yes.
Yeah. Again, just in the moment, Phone down. What is it?
Phone down, eyes up, heart open.
Yeah. I did have shoes on though.
Oh, that
Yeah, that was probably my favorite part of the jam. Probably because I love SOS Dawn so much that it took me there a little bit. So, fantastic.
Kamito, over to you for this part.
Yeah, eyes closed, blissed out, like totally.
Towel on your head or scarf on your head.
Scarf, yeah. Just completely. And this is the last time I'll mention it. After having overcome the adversity, already now we're about 25 minutes in and felt like we're already playing with house money. Right. Like nothing that happened before was done. And now it's like, wow, this is going to be one of those fucking shows.
Yeah.
And it already was just, and we weren't even halfway through this echo yet.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. This hit around like the 20-minute mark or so. Or just
and this was already like completely blissed out, mind left body, you know, we were locked in with them.
Not as in a, just for the record, not as in a mind left body.
No.
But like your mind leaving your body.
Yes.
Just want to specify that
body
for
is
people
being like
there, so they don't get
in a similar way that the musicians need to shut their minds and enable the music to come through them, like channel it rather than, you know, work at it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the crowd can achieve that state too. And it was right about this point, you know, that we were locked in right with them.
Yeah. Amazing. Neil, how are you feeling here?
Beautiful section here. And this is like a pretty cool one because you juxtapose this with what comes after. And it's just this amazing kind of two sides of the Goose jamming thing. And in fact, you get like a whole tour, right? Of all the different styles of jamming that Goose does. You get the funk, you get the bliss, you get the darkness. So yeah, dude,
and you get the little space.
Good.
Yeah,
they could have cut the echo either right after the bliss and before the darkness, or right after the darkness and before the next segment,
or right after that first bliss jam. It could have been our solid 8 or 9 minute echo, and we would have been like, all right, we're in, like let's go. And you know,
and then from a psychological standpoint, echo has become so reliable for them, right?
Yeah.
Like the Philly echo. So this was the only song that they played last night not on the set list. And after trying lead up and then trying lead up again, it was interesting that this was what they ad-libbed with, to come back, play something not on the list, do something different, and perhaps allow themselves to get in that headspace where they could just lose themselves in the music and be in the moment.
Yeah. Amazing.
I didn't know this wasn't on the set list. That was just a total
audible.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
It was the only audible.
Yeah, everything else last night was on the set list. So interesting to see that. So then after this bliss segment, you know, where Peter's, it was cool watching Peter during points of this segment too, because he was doing you know, some stuff on his Nord synth and then turning around and doing something on the Prophet and then turning back around, all while still playing Vintage Vibe
and playing the guitar with his left foot.
That was later in the jam. But
that part I didn't see. I got to hear about
that part was nuts. But yeah, so after this bliss segment, we get nice few minutes of the transitional space. You know, are they going to keep going? Are they going to end the jam? Very pretty stuff. Peter using that, like the piano with the vibes is called it. Not the marimba one. It's the vibes piano is the name of the patch on the Nord, as we learned recently. But this space was very nice, of course, really lovely. And then there's that moment, if you're listening, Peter hits a low thing on the Prophet that starts like a like coming in, and then Rick switches up what he's doing to start into that evil zone, and it's on. It's on from there, and that's like the end of the Philly echo. That kind of just like evil build, but this one is much better in my opinion. You know, we get the same thing where Peter's like, "Oh, my guitar's over there, and I can make weird noises with it." But this time, instead of tapping the fretboard, he like, you know, just scrapes his left foot along the strings, which like I saw that happening. I was like, what in the like the world? You know, he's playing clav and piano, and just like looking down to his left, and it's like, you know, playing with pedals and turning on delays and making all sorts of crazy noises in the background as this just like builds and builds and builds and builds. It was insane. Probably my favorite part of the jam. Yes, some say foot Dini. Some do say that. But let's go to the couch first for this one. Neil, how were you feeling during this build?
Well, so this is like when I really realized that this wasn't going to be just another long jam that doesn't have kind of amazing jam sections to it. We've had a couple of those this year. You know, Philly Born comes to mind, where they played quite a long time and didn't really find anything cool. And they did find it here. And that is when I was like, all right, this is really, really good. And yeah, man, there's not much more I can say about it than what you said. So pretty great.
There we go. Sean, over to you.
Yeah, I mean, same. I love the dark jam. I love the sound that Rick gets out as a guitar player. I'm still wondering what pedal he's even using for that. Seriously, maybe you can tell me when you do the
I don't know
rig.
yet. Yeah.
Yeah, just that's I like, again, being a year in, like there wasn't a lot of dark evil Goose when I first started listening older stuff, like 2019. So that seems to be more in the last year, and that's when I've been listening. So I like it. It's definitely something different. And they went all over the place last night. So
amazing.
Good stuff.
Camilo.
I was hanging out with a couple of 16-year-old girls who saw Goose. It was their second time seeing Goose. And the first time was at the Thing Festival a year ago, where they saw the first song, and they kind of walked away thinking this indie band sucks. Their songs have no words, and then they kind of realized they were a jam band and came back and got into the experience. So last night I was trying to like coach them through, like at this point I was like, so this is the same song that started 35 minutes ago. And that's actually a really fucking good thing. Like we're good right here.
Yeah.
And they were all blissed out too. We really got every, you said it, Neil. Every type of Goose jamming we got in one of these segments over the course of these 45 minutes, and we don't get enough dark Goose. This was a nice pop.
Yes, and then that final build, you could feel it coming.
Well, the darkness makes the light shine brighter, doesn't it?
It's true. It's true. And finally releasing the tension that they were building up for like 7 or something, like a really long build.
It was coming for a long time.
When they finally released that energy, it's like, again, another arms in the air, just pure joy moment as they return to the song and finish it off. And just like, it was a little schwitzy in there last night. I felt like you at the end of this echo. I was like, is this what Camino's like at every show? Like this sweaty? So I will be wearing shorts tonight because it was warm in there. But what a way to end off the 45 minutes.
They say there are 3 parts to a magic trick: the pledge, the turn, and the prestige, right? During the pledge, you say what you're going to do. During the turn, you distract everybody, but anybody could make something disappear. The trick is in bringing it back, right? So 45 minutes later, how they so perfectly and seamlessly brought it back to that harmonizing chorus. Whoa.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just total arms up, like, let's go.
Yeah. And the energy in there when they, after they finished the song was just like people were losing it. Like whether you thought that jam was 20 minutes long, whether you knew that it was 45 minutes long, like everyone was so excited about what had just happened. Just what an amazing moment, again, overcoming that adversity from earlier and just laying it out there and having an amazing time.
First song back, they made their own history, right? Like you can't overcome adversity any better than that.
Yeah. Well, let's get into some of the rest of this set here. Now that we've
there was more songs.
Oh, I know, right? It's like, yeah, they could have walked off after that, and it's like, all right, like worth the price of admission. That would have been a good show number 50 if they had walked off after that. Like,
well, that would have been like Frederick. It was the arrow bob don done.
Right, exactly. Exactly. So after this echo, we get the Earthling, Western Sun, Sleepwalk. Just at this point, I'm kind of figuring like, okay, we're gonna get high energy, quicker hits of songs. Like I wasn't expecting anything else huge to happen in the set, and I was like, they're just gonna be having fun up there. They played Echo for 45 minutes. Now they're just gonna hit us with a bunch of bangers. And bangers they hit us with. Earthling was fun. The crowd went crazy at the beginning of Earthling. Like people were very, very excited to hear this one. More clav, more great funk. A Western Sun, always so amazing to hear. And then Sleepwalk, which I didn't recognize right away. I was excited to hear this. My first one since 12/31/21, which is a 111 show bust out. But this was, set continuing strong. Sean, how are you feeling during these 3 songs?
Well, after Echo, I got like 5 first-time played songs for me. So
Nice.
including Earthling. So that was number 1. So I went crazy. Western Song I love and hadn't caught that one before. Sleepwalk, obviously, hadn't seen that. And then Arrow. I've been chasing Arrow since day 1. So that made my night. With Hollywood Nights in there, that was like, I was so excited. I was having the time of my life through all that stuff.
Amazing.
And then Feel It Now. Come on.
Well, we're not there yet. You're going through
down the list.
You're excited. I love it.
I'm ahead of the
game.
I'm new at this. Sorry.
I love it. All good.
Yeah.
Camino, how are you feeling during the Earthling Western Sun Sleepwalk?
Awesome. Earthling is officially the second song I've ever gone to the bathroom during.
What was the first?
Honeybee. Honeybee at the Capitol Theater. And now Earthling at the Paramount. Like the breaks were awkward. And even though we had room on the floor, like it was a little, I was going to channel my inner camel and just not pee for 4 hours. And that became an impossibility once the Earthling came around. So my second ever pee break during a Goose show. But it was actually cool to move around the room, dance by the soundboard a little bit, taking a different vantage point. Western Sun is always cathartic. I could listen to that, all the time. It's like kind of watching the arc of my life, in one ballad. And then Sleepwalk, I have Sleepwalk. I understand for those people who don't know, Rick's father passed away when he was a senior in high school, and yesterday was his birthday, and Sleepwalk was played for Rick's father's birthday. So if you heard a little extra something in his guitar, that's what you heard.
Wow. Yeah. Neil, how was this stretch from the couch?
I mean, all good stuff, right? I was surprised that actually when they started playing Earthling, I thought we were going to get yet another completely jammed out version of Earthling, which didn't happen. And that's okay because the song is great and it is fun to dance to. And you saw that in the crowd there. I think there are haters of the song out there. I think the numbers are dwindling at this point. They have to be.
Listen, soon it's just going to be Jive Goose on an island by himself.
Just scowling.
Arms crossed, scowling while we're all having a good time.
And for the record, I've been, a supporter of this song since the Conduction days. Still killer. Always killer. It's a fun song. Fits anywhere in a set. It's good. And then, of course, you get Western Sun after that, which, I mean, you're lucky. If you're at a show and they play Western Sun, you're lucky. Doesn't matter if they jam it. It's an amazing song. Just so you can have that moment of, the go everywhere, feel everything.
You're dreaming big, feeling tall.
Yeah, man. You just soak that in. I always just kind of when I hear that at a show, I'm just kind of in my own space and taking in those lyrics because they're amazing. Yeah. Amazing lyrics. And then Sleepwalk. Good thing somebody knew what it was. I had your back on that, Ryan. And it was just funny. I think the reason why I know Sleepwalk right away is that it appears throughout the movie 12 Monkeys, which was a movie with Bruce Willis in the 90s. Anybody remember 12 Monkeys? In any case, that Sleepwalk comes up throughout that whole entire movie. And it's immediately the first thing I think of every time I hear those notes. But awesome rarity there. If you're the kind of person who chases songs at Goose shows, chases covers, that's a pretty amazing one. And then turns out there's a pretty amazing story behind it, Mark, which I didn't know until just this very moment.
Yeah, I just found that out a couple hours ago.
Mm-hmm. That's very nice. After Sleepwalk, we are treated to another Thatch, which last night was my 6th Thatch. I am nowhere close to getting tired of it. This is also the 5th Thatch in a row that has been played on a 3-show gap. 5 versions in a row. So plan your fantasy Goose picks for what is it, Eugene or San Francisco night 1.
How many all-time Thatches is that?
How many all-time Thatches? I believe it's at 12 right now. I believe I'm in the 50% club. Yeah.
How many of them have gone type 2? 3, 4?
3, I think. I don't
this
know if
one
last
decidedly did in its short time span.
It
did. They made a lot of 12 minutes. Oh, come on, dude.
I mean, listen, Thatch fucks. I'm not trying to diminish this one at all. I I was so happy to hear it again. I danced very hard, of course.
I mean, my bar, I'm not a musician like you, but my bar is if I forget what they're playing while they're playing it because it's unrecognizable to me.
Yeah, that's fair.
By that bar, Thatch left the building last night.
There we go. All right. More funk, more dance party. Like, man, just so good. Sean, how are you feeling?
About Arrow Hollywood Nights at all?
That's after Thatch.
Oh, it's coming next?
That's coming next. See, so did that go type 2 because you didn't remember where in the set list it was?
Oh, man.
Sean, how are you feeling about Thatch? You are muted.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Thatch was good. That was number 2 for me to see. And it was, I love that song. You can't go wrong with it, in my opinion. Funky.
Yes.
You know, I'm a guitar player, so that immediate riff is just like, oh, what is this?
Yeah.
So
amazing. Neil, you got anything on Thatch?
I don't have anything that I haven't already said about
It
Thatch
fucks?
like 100 times. Yeah,
It fucks.
I think that's how we address Thatch on
fucks.
every day after show. We just kind of say, "Yep, it fucks," and then you move on
Yeah.
because you really can't say anything more about it than what we've already said. It's an amazing song. This one was especially spicy. It was a good one.
Extra mustard, if you will.
Yeah, man. It was pretty good, and I can't wait to go back and check that out again. I actually have not yet re-listened to this Thatch, but in the moment,
Well, good thing the
Listen to
boards
it.
are up.
I know it's exciting stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. And then after the Thatch, we get the Arrow Hollywood Nights Arrow. This is the second time I've seen them play this sandwich. First time being back at Mohegan to Goose in November. This was a lot of fun. This was, it was so much fun. I feel like it wasn't as expected, it wasn't as unexpected as it came in Mohegan. Obviously, that one was a 4.5-year bust out of the song. They've been putting Hollywood Nights in more regular rotations since, which I absolutely love. It's an amazing cover to come out of a jam like this, and it's just an amazing cover. It sounds amazing. The crowd goes nuts for it. Shout out to Captain Incredible, Jeff, friend of the pod, who absolutely loves this song and threatened to take his shirt off during the New Year's shows if this happened. I have a feeling with the temperature in there and the energy level that his shirt would have come off if he had been there last night. But this was just so much fun. Great vintage vibe work from Peter once again in the Arrow Jam before the segue. But this was fun. Sean, Arrow Hollywood Nights.
I mean, like I said, when I said it earlier, like I've been chasing Arrow since like day one. So I was so excited to hear that. And I love Hollywood Nights. I mean, I knew that the original song growing up. So, and they do an amazing cover of that. Like it's so good with the jam, this guitar. And you're right. Like I love it. It's an easy like segment. You come into that cover out of another jam. It just works. So I was in heaven, man. It was a blast.
Got it. Camito, what about you?
Arrow always does its thing. Hollywood Nights is really developed. I think when they played it, I thought the Mohegan version was really strong, but there were a couple after that where I thought like Rick didn't sell out lyrically as much as I would like him to, on like certain parts of the song. And he's really like stepped into that, the last couple of versions, the one in Philly and was the one in Philly the one before this? I don't know. Maybe. No, it was not. They played it the Ryman and Minnesota and Cleveland. They didn't play it in Philly. You're thinking of the Cap, maybe? Maybe. My bad. But it really, really strong lyrically. Anything that the crowd gets behind, like Neil, you're kind of like thumbing your nose at like Danger Zone a little bit, but like crowd gets behind it, and songs like that just raise the collective energy. And I'm into anything, that does that. And it worked again last night, to a T. And then, again, not as unexpected as when they did it during Taboo's tour, but bringing the Arrow back at the end is really just, a nice touch to make it a little more special than not doing that.
So for the record, I was thumbing my nose at the Loggins suite.
Okay.
Nobody needs a suite of Loggins ever at a show.
Why not?
And I will die on that hill. Because you go there to see the band and you want to
It's
listen
fun.
to them do what they do. And then you get like 15 minutes of Loggins That's what you do when you go to a Loggins concert. That's what you want. You don't want that when you go to see Goose. At least me. I like Danger Zone, but 3 Loggins songs in a row, I don't think I'd be wishing for that. I mean, maybe it's fun in the moment. I mean, if you're there, I'm sure it's great. You know, Mustang Sally with Jimmy Fallon, awesome in the moment. No one's going back to listen to that.
True.
But in any case, yeah, it's I love this, and I love it for a couple of reasons. Mainly that Arrow as a sandwich song is great. There are like other sandwiches out there. Like when you get a Madavon sandwich, it doesn't always work, and then you're kind of bummed out because like you didn't get a good Madavon. Like Second Night of Montana 21 is a good example.
Yeah.
That Madavon, Doctor My Eyes, Madavon, you were like, cool, but like, where's the fucking Madavon, you know?
Yeah.
But this one is great. And, you know, Hollywood Nights killer song inside of an Arrow that can, you know, tend to retread some of the same ground over and over and kind of get a little boring. But it totally kills as a sandwich song. Awesome. Absolutely awesome.
Astute. Very astute observations.
Yeah. Great comparison. Then the set closes with Feel It Now. We were feeling it now. You know, this song is great. I got nothing else to say about it. It's fun.
I like Fact. You talked about like those opening guitar riffs, Sean, right? Like from the first time they played that opening guitar riff on Taboos Tour, like you just knew that this was a song that you were immediately into. Like, if you can catch the listener, you know, on a first listen in the opening progression, that's good songwriting. And this song has a big hook. We felt it when they played it the first time at the Capitol Theater, and every time since. This like it slaps, man. It's everything that I think Goose is. Like there's a little 80s in there, there's a little cheese in there, there's a little synth in there. It hits hard. The band sells out, we sell out. It's a more of this in the catalog, you know, generally speaking, as they continue to grow their catalog. Grow it with songs like this, and we're all winning.
Love it.
70s funky, cool stuff. Just loved it.
Amazing.
Spotlight on Jeb. Right?
What?
That's the best part of the song. You get a spotlight on Jeb.
Yes.
You know, you get
playing
not
a
percussion solo, but you get something.
Very, very central to the song.
Yeah, they're all bongos.
Yeah, they're all bongos.
Yeah.
And then the encore, you know, I've talked about these two songs being paired together, 726 and Dripfield. I feel like they show up together a lot. And this just seemed like an incredible encore pairing right here. Come up for 726, just beautiful, gorgeous. And then there's that certain note that they hit on that like spacey intro to Dripfield. Peter starts doing that reverse delay guitar stuff. And you know very quickly, like, oh, this is going to be Dripfield. There was a funny moment, you know, before Jeff hit the button to start like his, like, you know, the synth loop thing that goes through a Dripfield. You know, Rick kind of looked back at him to cue it, and Jeff was sitting there like waiting for a second, and then it was funny to see, you know, that moment. But you know, and then Dripfield, just incredible way to close the show. Shout out to Getty, you know, utilizing that like the dark light that I've talked a little bit about over the past week. He's been using a bunch of where he like kind of doesn't utilize the main lights as much, but uses like those vertical panels behind the band to like kind of just like shoot beams out into the audience. Feels like you're more in space. Really, really cool stuff. But just an incredible way to close the show. Sean, encore.
Encore. I mean, I think I caught 726 and Drip together in Atlanta. I would say they did that. Well, not an encore, but so after 726 is amazing. Very emotional song for me. Probably one of those like Western song. I'm not ashamed to admit I was crying in that song. Very emotional. I know it's emotional for Rick, but I was just loving it. And then to have a second song in the encore and it being Dripfield. Yeah. And that was my second Dripfield. It was the lights, everything, just the tribal feel in the beginning. I love that song. That was one of the first songs I saw that when the first time I saw Goose on the first live stream, and I was like, what is this?
Yeah, like, this
So,
is
when I was with Chop and Alley almost a year ago watching it, I was like, what is this band? So I love that song. That was a great way to end it. I mean, what a
Amazing.
night. What a night.
Amazing. Kamito, what about you?
7-2
It was really a perfect encore. There were, I think it's significant that they, if they just played 726, it wouldn't have been enough, and it would have left what was really an unbelievable recovery and a monster show. I think it would have left it feeling just a little bit shy of the mark. Pairing it up with that Drip Field, which is definitively, my essay will soon be coming out of top 5 Goose songs, and Drip Field is a top 5 Goose song. It'll be in my essay, and
I look forward to reading it.
Yeah, I look forward to writing it. But there's, and again, to go back to these like 16-year-old girls, like who are looking for an indie band, like you stumble across Drip Field and you found the next cool thing. To see that song live, I think that just speaks to absolutely everybody. So enigmatic in its message, like the lyrics are puzzling. They mean everything and nothing. It's just, I think it's one of Goose's best pieces of art. And to finish off what Peter calls a third set, but I call last night's only set, as a 2.5 hour behemoth.
Yeah.
Is that what it was? 2.5 hours?
2.5 hours. They came on at 9:32 and played till like 11:58.
Yeah, that set plus encore is longer than some of like the the drive-ins or like the early curfew shows that we've seen over the last couple of years.
That set plus encore was like 226 or 227.
Yeah, something
like that, just straight playing. And it was just, we all won last night. We weathered the storm and we came out with a once in a lifetime memorable. We all did it together. I wonder if any schnooks left during that break. If so, I feel bad for them. Super special night. And, if I turn the clock back to thinking about how much doubt I had, after lead up or after flow down, especially during the extended break, and to how they recovered and delivered something special on what was a special night for me that I put a lot of effort into. Last night was just everything Goose.
Yeah. Amazing. Very well put, as always. Neil, you got anything on the encore?
Just want to say that 726 now looks like it's starting to be a regular rotation song. So 2 short gaps on the last 2 plays, actually 3 over time. So this is exciting stuff because this is a song that doesn't get played all that often. It is an amazing song. It's one of their better ballads.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't get played enough. Cough, Not Alone also.
Yes.
Like, what the hell? Like, play the song more, please.
Mm-hmm.
We only got that twice. But in any case, back to 726. It may be becoming a regular rotation song, which if it is, I'm really excited. There was a stretch there last year where it looked like it was going to be, and they were like, nah.
Well, looking at the show gaps, it like comes in waves, 2021 through the beginning of 2022, like it was being played very, very regularly. And then
it was on
random,
field, yep.
Yeah. And then random 15 show gap. And then, like last year, it wasn't played for 20 shows at one point. And then, from October to the cap, it wasn't played again, which is another 20 show gap. So it's coming in waves.
I saw it once through my first 45 shows and 3 times in the last 5.
Oh, well,
nice.
There you go. There you go. We did forget the bathroom recap. The bathroom, not as nice as the Elm bathroom or the Met bathroom, I will say, but down in the basement of the Paramount Theater. I just went before the show. No complaints. No line. It was a pretty solid bathroom. You guys have any different experiences in the bathroom last night?
So I went where we were, Ryan. I went up behind us.
Oh yeah.
And it was like a secret. Nobody knew there was stuff up there. So no issues in and out.
And there's no bathroom up there for anybody who's going tonight. Don't try to go up there because there's nothing worth your time. Definitely not just trying to keep it empty. Well,
no issues. I mean, the Paramount's it's a big venue, so
Mhm. yeah.
So we're in Pearl Jam City here, aren't we? Anybody else praying for a Pearl Jam cover?
Put,
Or am I the only one?
put it out there. Put it out
I
there.
have so many times.
There we go. Yeah.
maybe a play on oceans and your ocean, right? I don't know.
Sure, done. Anything.
There's a lot of it.
Pearl Jam
Anything.
tees even for Comito, you know? I want to watch you jump like 20 feet in the air if they do.
I want to
something like
watch
that.
Rick try and figure out the words to Yellow Ledbetter. That's fucking what I want to watch.
All right. Well, I think a power hour recap here as we cross the 1 hour mark. Thank you, Sean and Comito, for being on today. This has been a lot of fun breaking down quite an interesting experience from last night. Looking forward to seeing you both again in a few hours as we get back at it for what is hopefully going to be a proper 2-set show tonight. Ready for some more Goose?
Yes, sir. I'll be on the floor tonight.
Ooh, have fun down there.
I
Have fun.
had my rest night last night. Time to get back to the craziness tonight.
Find me in the sweet spot.
Which is the same
We'll look
spot
for
you
you,
were
man.
last night?
Second row center.
Nice. He will have a scarf on his head.
Okay.
And a Knicks jersey.
And
Knicks
a
are up 3-1 over the Cavs.
next
Celebrate
jersey
sports.
tonight. What will you be wearing second set?
Well, it's I changed the T-shirt under the jersey.
Ah, got it.
The jersey is really there for people like you. For when you try and hug me at set break, there's an extra layer between you and the disgustingness that has developed over the course of an hour's worth of work.
Love it. All right.
Winning.
Well, Neil, you got anything else to add?
It's gonna be another banger tonight. That's my suspicion. So get
Yeah, it
ready.
is. Better take a nap.
Big
Yep.
creatures on tap.
But yeah.
Oh,
Mhm.
See
So
creatures.
Creatures was on the set list last night and didn't make
Yeah.
It was, and it's been due.
I feel like
Definitely.
we should have had Creatures in Boise, but that seemed like a better venue. But we'll see.
Anything's possible. You know,
Maybe.
We've seen Goose.
No.
Maybe we'll get another Thatch. Who knows? Well, we'll be back here, same place, 3:30 Eastern tomorrow, 12:30 Pacific. We'll be recapping tonight's show as we hit the road, heading down to Eugene for Tuesday night. Everybody have yourself a fantastic day. Of course, as always, let us know your favorite parts of last night's show and what you are hoping to hear tonight on social media at AAT Goose Pod. Tag us. Let us know. We love talking and starting conversations. Have yourselves a fantastic rest of your day and night, and we will see you